Alright guys, so Averis is coming to visit, and yeah, I know they're kind of psycho and stuff, but I still gotta look good for my guests, you know what I mean? So I don't know what to wear. I got so many shirts, like, I don't know if I should wear this one, or if I should wear this one, or, I don't know, maybe this one, or how about this one with the all out? I don't know, here, hold this.
Okay.
And, let me see, I also got, you're already here! Oh god!
I missed you so much.
Yes, I missed you.
So long.
Yes, I missed you so much too. But yeah, don't just stand there. Let me see here. Let me see real quick. This one or this one? What do you think?
I'm always a sucker for that. This one, the Sorceress of Sin.
All right, let's go for it. Hey, this is Mark Rodriguez.
And this is Johnny Rodriguez, and, why are you blonde, bro?
Yeah, Averis got to me again. I swear, you can't keep your eyes off him for a second.
It's a good look for you, Mark. You should break out your old Fatal Fury cap.
Whoa, speaking of hair, you need to let yours grow, Brian.
At least until we're back in the office.
おー、マーク君の髪がかっこいいですよ。完璧ですね。
Oh, thanks, Jupi. I guess it did turn out pretty good after all, didn't it? And, I'm glad that our budget can afford subtitles.
Hey guys, it looks like we have a full house today.
Oh, hey, Fish Hunter. And yeah, this episode does look a little busier than usual, but maybe that's because in today's episode of Video Game Masters, we're going to be talking about Killer Instinct and Killer Instinct Gold.
Let's check it out.
Ready. The original Killer Instinct hit the arcades in 1994, brought to you by Midway and Rare. The game impressed fans with the huge character graphics and insane combos. Now, originally around this time, Nintendo was getting ready to release its next console, at the time known as the Ultra 64. The plan was to bring over an arcade-perfect port to the new console. However, things took a little bit longer than expected with development, and so Killer Instinct came out on the Super Nintendo instead.
The game's story revolves around an evil organization called Ultratech, which holds a tournament called Killer Instinct. Along with the regular fighters, Ultratech also throws in their weird experiments like a living skeleton, a cyborg, and a clone dinosaur. Their experiments go so far that there's even a gateway to another dimension which releases the final boss, Idol.
The SNES version scales down the graphics as you would expect, but all 10 fighters are still here.
We still have the deadly secret agent Black Orchid, the heavyweight champion boxer TJ Combo, the cool fighter from Tibet named Jago, Spino the living skeleton, Saberwolf the werewolf, Glacius an ice alien, Cinder a guy made out of fire, Riptor the raptor, Bulgor the cyborg, and Cheap Thunder a Native American chief.
Killer Instinct has their fights take place in one long round, similar to the Darkstalkers games. If one fighter loses all their health, they lose that round, but the other fighter continues with the same health.
What makes Killer Instinct stand out is the combo system. The game encourages you to pull off the longest combos possible with all kinds of crazy names. However, to keep this balanced, there is also a combo breaker, which interrupts the combos in progress and prevents a lot of that damage from coming through.
The game also has ultra combos, where the characters will literally combo you to death. You also have more traditional finishing moves that are similar to Mortal Kombat's fatalities. You also have no mercy moves and humiliation moves.
After defeating everybody else, including your twin, the final boss is Idol. This is a giant-sized, two-headed Cyclops monster armed with a huge club. As you would expect, he's incredibly cheesy and difficult to take down. Anyways, take this guy down to beat the game.
Yeah, Killer Instinct. Quite a game. I didn't play on the SNES or the N64, but I did play in the arcade, and the main thing that comes to mind is all of the combos! Killer combo! Ultra combo! Monster combo! I really liked using Orchid when I did used to play, and I liked using her because it was easy to do her combos, and I liked her moves and all of that, and it was sort of like Jade in MK in Ultimate MK3 and MK Trilogy. I liked using her because I loved her combos, her attacks, and her moves and her weapon. And aside from Killer Instinct being a Rare game, which Rare was awesome, and I really missed them, I liked the music for this game. I mean, that's all I really remember. The atmosphere in the arcade. You know, everyone waiting in line to play. Then I lose all my quarters and I can't play again. Why did I never have this at home? I want to play.
To be honest, I missed out on the whole Killer Instinct craze. I wasn't really that interested. It looked like a crazy combo fiesta, like the Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 dollar combo crap. I wasn't really like into a game that would play like that. And then you find out that the next Nintendo console is going to be delayed, and they're going to have a 16-bit version of this game with these giant like rendered graphics and stuff. So yeah, I wasn't really too thrilled about it. As you would expect, the graphics are pretty scaled down. The characters look kind of like very dark and murky kind of sort of graphics. But the saving grace though is for the fans of Killer Instinct, the gameplay is pretty much intact. The game is still super fast. The characters still do all their combos and stuff. I would say the arcade still plays a bit better and faster, but the controls are precise enough here to do all your crazy ultimate combos and master combos and whatever the hell like the arcade here. So people were really playing the living hell out of the SNES version, so I say they got that right.
So when Killer Instinct came out on the Super Nintendo, my brother and I were really big fans. We didn't actually get it until later on, but we did get the CD Killer Cuts really quickly because surprisingly enough, the rental boxes at Blockbuster still had the CD in them, and so we ended up with the CD instead, long before we got the game. But I loved it, even the bits that were scaled down, even loss of frames of animation and such. It was a great game. The combo system still worked really well. Had a blast with it. Would I have loved to have had a arcade perfect version on the N64 at launch? Yes, but I really thought that the SNES version was a great way to tide us over until it came through. Highly recommended. Great game.
So eventually the arcades would have a Killer Instinct 2, but this time Nintendo would have a console powerful enough to make a port for it. And special thanks to our very own Ninja Jupi, we actually have a Nintendo 64 to review the game. So yeah, special thanks to you. Now we've got Killer Instinct Gold on Nintendo 64.
Oh, thank you, Mark. You're too kind.
Killer Instinct Gold was released for the Nintendo 64 in 1996 by Rare. As you know, this game is based on the arcade version of Killer Instinct 2.
After Orchid killed Idol at the end of the original game, a time warp sent everyone back 2,000 years. Now the returning fighters have to fight their way home by defeating the new threat, Gargos. Oh, so much fun.
Killer Instinct Gold brings back Orchid, Jago, TJ Combo, Glacius, Saberwolf, Fulgore, and Spinal.
Too bad Chief Thunder, Riptor, and Cinder didn't come back.
Don't worry guys, they'll come back in the third game. Anyways, you do get 3 new characters. You get Tusk, the barbarian armed with a huge sword, Kim Woo, the martial artist armed with nunchucks, and Maya, the Amazon with the deadly blades. The final boss, like previously mentioned, is Gargos, a gargoyle monster, and you have to defeat him to go back to your own timeline. As you expect, he's a pretty cheesy fighter, though he does like to do this taunting pose a lot, which leaves him wide open to attack. Beat him to finish the game, though you have to play the game in hard mode to see each character's full ending. Besides the regular arcade mode and versus mode with a friend, you can also set up a tournament mode for up to 8 players. You also have a team battle mode in which you can create teams up to 6 characters to fight against a friend or the computer. There's also a team elimination mode, which is similar to the team mode except that it never seems to end. I kinda don't see the point of this mode unless it's just to practice getting better with your character. You do have a training mode and a focus training mode to improve your combos with the characters, so that's also pretty cool.
KI Gold was interesting. It definitely, we played a ton of it. The characters still kind of looked janky, with the weird soda can boobs and stuff. They weren't perfectly well-designed characters. But the gameplay was still there. It was still really fun, and it was great to have something like that at home. We played that for years after. It was probably my favorite fighting game on the N64.
One last thing I want to say that's kind of funny was that back when it came out, we had our own version, back in Mexico, our own version of a monthly Nintendo magazine. So obviously it was going to be big coverage on Killer Instinct 2 and then later Killer Instinct Gold. So someone asked that, okay, this is next gen, and this is supposed to be just like the arcade, made by Rare and all that shit. How come they're missing out the full motion video? Because in the real arcade, when you have the the Supreme Victory, they actually have a cool full motion video of the character. While here you only get a stiff picture. They just kind of zoom in, whatever. But the model's not moving. It's not like an actual the character actually posing or whatever. And the worst offender is, of course, in the select screen, the characters are just fucking standing there. They're just standing there and barely moving a bit. And the arcade version, they're fucking breathing. Their almost entire body is moving. Here, especially examples like Saberwolf, barely moving his mouth like that in that cheap way. In my opinion, I'm oh my god, get that shit out of there. It looked better if it didn't move as opposed to making the most minimal movement, So yeah, so the guy was asking why don't the characters breathe on the select screen like the arcade, or why are you missing the full motion video like the arcade? And this guy, I'm not sure if he actually speaks for Nintendo or not, remember it's a Mexican magazine, but he was saying, remember, this is not Killer Instinct 2, this is Killer Instinct Gold. We rely more on the gameplay and the combos and, putting in more modes to make the game more fun and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. That 64 can't handle full motion video, or at least not when it first came out or whatever. But yeah, anyways, overall it's a fun game. It really gives you the nostalgia. At least for me, it kind of makes you feel wow, this is the it game back then. And it feels different for me because this is my first time seeing it. But for you guys that grew up on Killer Instinct and grew up on Nintendo 64 and stuff like that, this game is fucking awesome. If you can still get your hands on it, check it out. And yes, we haven't forgotten that there's a third Killer Instinct game that was released for the Xbox One in 2013. As you can see here, Johnny got to check it out at a public arcade, but if we ever get our hands on an actual Xbox One to really play it through, we'll probably review it someday. And that wraps up this super jam-packed episode of Video Game Masters. I gotta say though, this kind of takes me back to the old days. We were talking about Tekken, for example. We had a big group of people. We're all reviewing it together and stuff like that. And I kind of like that, over 100 episodes later, we can still grab a bunch of friends to talk about video games. I appreciate everyone for still being part of the show for so long. And I also appreciate the fans for watching us for so long. So that's pretty awesome. So anyways, this is Mark Rodriguez.
And this is Johnny Rodriguez.
And this is the Fish Hunter.
And this is Jupi. Te va mata.
And this is Brian from Another Terrible Idea. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.